Need I Say More, episode 46. I am one of your hosts, Giuseppe, joined by my co-host with the most, Terrance.
Yes, sir.
Terrance, we just finished Thanksgiving a couple days ago. I think we're both just relaxing, enjoying the weekend.
Still got them leftovers.
How was your Thanksgiving, man? Hit me with it.
Thanksgiving was cool, man. It was
good food.
Real chill. Definitely good food. Definitely good food. That's never a doubt.
And you're literally eating right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I love how we started the show and you're still just eating. I mean, that's disrespectful to our listeners, Terrance.
They'll let it slide. It's Thanksgiving. Just know
it's not that
I'm munching good.
You're not eating anything from Thanksgiving. No, it sounds like some potato chips or something. My Thanksgiving was pretty good, man. Made nice homemade mashed potatoes, some stuffing, got myself a nice roast. It's delicious. Made
was it a tofu roast?
No, it was I don't know, it's from this like butcher shop that does vegan stuff out in Canada. But it's like it was good. They did a good job making that shit taste and feel like meat.
Nice.
It was good though, man. I think they still got a bunch of leftovers, obviously. Still got mashed potatoes were fucking fire though, man. I fucking love mashed potatoes. So I told you
good mashed potatoes. Good mashed potatoes are like unbeatable.
Your boy knows how to cook, man. Chopping those things up, boiling them, mashing them.
You had some garlic in it too?
Of course. Come on,
man. Yeah, you gotta have the garlic in there.
You don't have garlic and mashed potatoes. I mean, come on.
Gotta have the garlic.
They were good though, man. They came out really well. The roast was good. It was good though. But something we were talking about before we get into anything major, we were talking about, me and you were both obviously adults, and I think we, in many ways, are very similar, but we have very different lives in a lot of ways, and like thinking about Thanksgiving, we talked about this, we were texting about this. Like my Thanksgiving, I was alone. I cooked this meal for myself. I sat here, I was watching some TV, some movies, whatever I was watching, and I was, and I enjoyed it. But you on the other hand, you have kids, you have a soon-to-be wife, you have family. All my family's in Florida, essentially. So you had like 2 Thanksgivings to go to.
I did.
Crazy.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because me and Corey talk about it, and I'm just gonna give like a brief breakdown because I thought this was amazing. Shout out to my baby Corey, who did an amazing job this week.
Did she do all the cooking? Did you help her?
No, seriously, like it was crazy. So this week, my little sister decided, they're out of school, so she wanted to stay with me.
How old is
she? Kylie's 10.
Okay.
So she wanted to stay with us, and then my son stayed over with us the whole week as well. He's out of school as well. So, both of them. I still had to work. Corey maneuvered her schedule. And basically,
wait, you had to work on Thanksgiving?
Not Thanksgiving Day. This is just like this is the week.
Okay.
Right. So she maneuvered her schedule and kind of made it work or whatever. So Wednesday I worked from home, as well as Thursday, Friday. Now, here's the thing. She took care of the kids all week. Still got up with me at 5:30 in the morning, right? Because I'm headed out to work. Took care of the kids all day. Then made dinner, right? Then Wednesday baked 50. What was it? 50? Wednesday night, she baked 50 little apple pie turnovers. Right? 50.
How big is your oven?
Not big at all.
How many can she bake at once? Yeah.
One batch at 12. So she had to make for one batch to get done.
4 batches she had to make?
While the batch is heating up, she's prepping the other batch.
I didn't know Corey was she a cook? She's good into cooking and baking stuff?
She gets down.
Yeah, apparently, man.
Gets down. She did
50
of these, right?
Pies are kind of like, they're not, I don't want to say like overly hard, but it takes a lot of work.
It takes time.
50 mini ones.
It takes time. So these are fresh mini apple pies. Like she cut up the apples and everything. Put them in the skillet.
One of these pies. I would have loved a nice little pie. What are you doing?
She did all of this, right? This was Wednesday night. I sat up with her as long as possible. Then she's like, babe, you should go to sleep because you got to do all the driving tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. I'm gonna stay up with you as long as I can, and I'm gonna head to bed.
And just knocked out in the kitchen counter.
She didn't finish till probably like 2 a.m., some shit like that, right? Then we had to wake up super early the next day because she had a client. So we got up probably about 6 a.m. We drove into the city, which, by the way, there's a goddamn parade about to happen. the Thanksgiving Day
Oh
parade.
God, yeah.
We
No,
drive
that's
into the
brutal.
city. Traffic's crazy. You don't really know where you can park or whatever. But we wound up getting there early enough. I took the kids down the block so we could watch a little bit of the parade. They were
Can,
over it in like
can I
15
interrupt?
minutes.
Can I interrupt 1 second? I
Yeah,
didn't even know this. I was on Central Park West. I think I told you I went for a massive walk
yeah,
last
yeah,
week,
yeah.
and that was like a week before Thanksgiving. They had like all the bleachers already set up on Central Park West. Like they go
Ready
down the whole
already?
fucking thing. Yeah, that was the Friday before Thanksgiving, so it was almost a week before. And I was like, the
Hmm.
fuck are these bleachers? And I was like, oh, this. I think this is where the
That's
parade
the
goes.
route for the.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm like, this seems a little early, no? Like you think like a day or two beforehand, not a fucking week.
No, they've been apparently they've been getting ready far in advance. So I go down a block to the parade or whatever. We drive to the parade as close as we can. The kids were over it, but then they wanted to see it at the same time. So I wind up driving somewhere where we could sit in the car and still see the balloons float from far enough,
All
right?
right.
Corey does her appointment. She gets back in the car. We fly to Brooklyn, go to my mother's house, get to my mother's house. She's still cooking. Corey, it's in the kitchen. She's prepping, helping my mother, whatever.
Of
My
course.
brother decides that he wants to be super fancy. So he brought a whole bunch of seafood and asked my mother to make it. So my mother had to,
What do you mean he
besides,
brought it and asked her to make it? Why can't he make
no,
it?
he brought it. Like he brought it. He
Yeah,
brought a bunch of
but then
lobster
he
and
couldn't make it
shrimp and stuff
himself.
like that. Yeah, because
Nah,
he wouldn't cook
I
it.
can't get down on that. Your brother messed up there. It's party foul.
He so my mother's and sisters
Hey
making
guys, hey mom, I brought you a bunch of stuff for you to make. So she just
lobster
brought her
lobster
work.
mac and cheese on top of regular mac and cheese that she had to make because my dad's allergic to seafood and Corey's allergic to seafood and my uncle's allergic to seafood.
Sounds like your brother is
So
on a new level on this one. I gotta be honest with you, man. I
and
feel
so
like
he bought lobster
we gotta get
tails
him
as
on the
well.
show and I gotta talk to him about this.
He bought lobster tails as well. I cooked the lobster tails. Lobster tails came out bomb. I killed those lobster tails actually. They came out bomb. So we finish up dinner probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Fly from Brooklyn all the way to New Jersey to her cousin's Kevin house or whatever, where her family is now, and everybody's over there. And we're doing Thanksgiving part two, V2
Right.
over there now
What
for
is
the
the
rest of the
time
night.
difference in between one Thanksgiving meal to the other?
As far as like you don't eat a lot, so we ate probably about 4:30
For the
in
first
Brooklyn.
one?
First one.
And then when was the Jersey one? What time was that?
Jersey probably ate about 9.
I mean that's enough. I mean, to be fair,
It's enough, right? It's enough time.
that would mean you had to like really not eat too much in the first one because I
Exactly.
ate around like
Exactly.
4:30 and was the rest of the night I was like I don't need to eat shit. Like I was actually not hungry at all.
So we had the portion that Corey made my plate. It was portioned perfectly so that I wouldn't overeat at the first house because you can't get to the second house and not eat.
No,
Like
you
that's
can't be full.
disrespectful.
Yeah, no, what's the point of showing up? You just
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm
no,
sorry, I ate at my mother's house. Now it's like, whoa,
yes.
so you just
Sorry. Well,
can't eat
I
here?
filled up
Like,
my first Thanksgiving. You guys
I was
just
like,
were just
come
here
on
for no
now, you
reason.
can't do that.
No,
That's
no.
super disrespectful.
Yeah.
So we get over there, we eat over there as well, and now we're hanging out as well over there. Um, just having a great time, just having a great night. Look, it's a lot. It's a
Terrance, what
lot.
were the 50 pies for? Did you give 25 to each family?
Yeah, basically,
That
yes.
seems like a lot. What do you need? Was there that many people total? Like
There's a
she
lot. There's a
counted the
lot of.
total.
It's a lot of. It was a lot of people at the Jersey
So me and you could
Thanksgiving.
not have had different Thanksgivings if we tried. Like
No,
literally, there's nothing.
it,
The only way it'd be different is if I didn't eat or something.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
literally, you're at two massive Thanksgiving, like 100 people total. I'm by myself in an apartment alone eating Thanksgiving.
it was a lot of people. It was really fun. Had a really good time. What I realized, and I was talking to my mom about this, I was like, look, this is a lot. Honestly, I was complaining. I was like, yeah, this
What was
is
a
a
lot? Just
lot.
the amount of people?
Just doing 2 stops in one
Yeah, it
day.
is, man.
Yeah, I was like,
See,
it's a lot.
so that's something me and you talked about when we were texting. Is like there's pros and cons to living in my situation. Like my situation is obviously I have roommates, but essentially I live alone, right? I don't have like family I'm living with, but all of my family, my immediate family and extended family essentially lives away from me. Outside of like, I have an aunt and uncle who live upstate with their kids, even though their kids are grown, but they all live in the same area upstate. But outside of them, everyone lives away from me. And the
Hmm.
pros to that is you don't have to deal with a lot of like BS that comes with just being with around
Oh,
family.
having
Like,
your family close.
yeah, like you don't have to deal with like having to do things like show up all the time or feel guilty about not showing up. Or, a lot of times that's where like drama and fighting comes because as you get older, you feel you have to be hanging out with your family, but sometimes like it's best to just not do that. Like I'm over here, my family's over there, and a lot of the tiny dramas I don't even hear about because it's tiny drama and I don't need to hear about it,
Hmm.
which is nice. But then the con is like, yeah, for holidays, I'm generally alone, because everyone's with their families and I'm not near
And
my
that and
family.
that and you know what? When you text me that, it was like, damn, like that kind of sucks. Like I'm sitting here complaining that I have
No, I don't.
multiple places that I have to do multiple places, and my boy is over here like he is solo for the holidays, and
But
it's
you know
like
what it is,
that
man.
kind of
It's
sucks.
it's. I don't think it's you should feel bad about complaining or anything. It's kind of like how I feel when people are like celebrities shouldn't complain, and it's like no, that's bullshit, man. Like everyone has problems that they deal with, and obviously there are times when people can complain when they shouldn't, but the reality is like even if you're rich and famous, you still have problems, and even if they're different problems than us, they still have to deal with those problems. Doesn't make it any easier. Like what if people
Because
people try to steal all your money, like that's a problem. And
mhm,
you have to deal with that when you're making a ton of money because you need to hire like accountants and shit. And obviously some people go, oh, well, it must be hard to keep track of all your money. It's like, yeah, but that shit sucks. Like, and
mhm.
so with you, it's like, yeah, like it obviously sucks to have to go to Thanksgiving. It's a lot traveling back and forth, making all this food. But it's I don't think it's any worse or better
It's a
than
part. It's
me.
it's a part of. You know what? At first, I was like, "Yo, this is kind of a lot," but at the end of the night, when everything was all said and done, and it was like, "Okay, I'm about to go to bed," it was like, you know what? I'm glad we did that. I'm glad, like we get to go hang out with my side of the family and then go hang out with her side of the family. And I'm like, you know what? If if it's gonna be I'm sorry, probably about 2 days a year, right? Thanksgiving and maybe like Christmas.
Right.
2 days a year where I have to do that, I don't really have a lot to complain about.
Right.
Like
And
it's
also,
not that bad.
holidays are one of those things like I think as your life progresses, there's different ebbs and flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might flash forward, let's say 20 years from now, right? Maybe you're living somewhere not near New York, you're living on your own. I don't know, you moved to California, who knows? And then your kids are grown, and maybe it's just you and Corey, and you're like, man, we wish we had some people going by, like, because your kids, you don't know, maybe they'll come visit. Like, there's different ebbs and flows to that. Like when I was growing up, yeah, me and my family, it was always kind of crazy because we're Italian and we were very loud and there's just a lot of people. But then
Mm-hmm.
now my mom is like kind of misses it because we've all kind of moved on and
Said
we're living.
Italian and very loud.
We are Italians are notoriously loud, and we're like yelling is our normal state. Like we don't
Everybody's in the
notice.
kitchen like, hey,
Hey, about a boot.
yo.
Cazzo. No, essentially that's how it is, but not everyone. But at the dinner tables when that happens, like time for dinner, like we're all loud, but we don't realize it. Like we think it's normal, but everyone like people always tell me I'm loud, and I'm like, just the way I grew up. I don't
Mhm.
know. But there's different ebbs and flows. Like there's a time where you might, like wish you had more people around you. You might wish you were with your family. Other times you might be like, yeah, just quiet one. And with me, and I know this happened to you a little bit too, like the first few years of us being adults, like I worked a lot of Thanksgivings, man, because that
Oh man,
retail is always open now. Fucking
that
no
is
one
that is
cares.
a really shout out to the people that got to work during Thanksgiving
Yeah,
and like
and
Black Friday. Like we was in that spot.
yeah.
I don't miss it,
Terrance,
but
let me tell you a story
kudos to
about
you.
this. Let me tell you a story about this. So me and you have worked many holidays. Christmas is one of the few that we usually don't have to work. It's like legally,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
most places don't. But Thanksgiving is one of those that no one, people are greedy and no one cares. And multiple times for years, I would always hear people who would shop on Thanksgiving and I'd be there. They'd be like, oh, it sucks that you're here. I wish you didn't have to work, blah, blah, blah. One time I was at the Gap. It was Thanksgiving and I was working, and some guy said, was like, "Oh man, I really wish you didn't have to work today. It really sucks to be here. Because I wish there's something I
As
could
he's
do."
unfolding the pants you just folded.
So exactly, and I went, and I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was like, "Do you honestly wish there's something you could do? Because there is." And he
You
was
could
like, "What
not be here.
exactly?" I was like, "Do you want to know what you could do?" He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Stop shopping here." I'm like, "I am here because you are here. If they open the doors and no one shows up, guess what? They're not going
Done.
to open the doors next time." Right. Like, so everyone out there, if you feel bad for people who are out shopping,
Yep.
stop going to these locations and shopping.
Absolutely.
That is why it's called supply and demand. If the
Yeah.
demand for them to be open is going to mean they're going to make thousands of dollars, they're going to fucking open if they want to. And if no
Speaking of
one
that,
shows up, there you go.
speaking of that, Joe, shout out to a huge shout out to Target, which my little sister actually
Terrance, Target.
Oh yeah, Target.
Come on now.
My apologies.
Heathen.
I'm sophisticated enough to know that,
That's why I had to correct you. I don't want to embarrass you on the show. It's just
Thank you. I appreciate that. But shout out to Target, where my sister actually works with. They've announced that going forward, they will be closing on Thanksgiving Day
amazing.
permanently.
It's amazing.
That they're doing. And as a company, that's you talking to your
that's you giving up money to be actually nice to your employees.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing.
man.
You're losing money by doing
employees
that.
and stuff. Absolutely. Right. You're gonna open up 7 a.m. on Black Friday. Big deal.
Most places aren't even. Dude, I'm with the Gap. They didn't even. And Toys R Us, towards the end, like it wasn't that they weren't even closing. They were going, no, we're open all Thanksgiving Day and all day Friday. Yeah,
that was like, insane. That was insane. 24 hours.
Terrance, we've talked about this in the show. Like, we live in a world of instant gratification, and I get it. But you have to understand, like, we need to be able to just relax and enjoy life. And Thanksgiving is literally a holiday designed around getting together with people you love and just relaxing, eating some food, being thankful. So the fact that we're forcing so many people to work just sucks, and I'm glad that at least someone's trying to do something. Some companies are doing this.
Yeah, hopefully more companies follow
Target's man. Like, we just need to chill.
That's a big deal. It's bigger than you think when it comes to that.
So an interesting thing is that UPS, FedEx, and like most of the major people who do shipping and all that, they're closed 6 days a year. They're closed New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, 4th of July, I think Memorial Day, and Labor Day. Those are the 6 they're always closed for, right? Now, what that does is force a ton of companies who rely exclusively on delivery, forces them to close, which is great, which is good. Yeah, because that's good. Now, I think they are keenly aware that it's like, if FedEx were to, if just FedEx were to change it, all their delivery services will likely copy them because they don't want to lose the same business. Yeah. And so, I think they all know, like, there's like a domino thing where it's like, we all have to remain like this because there's a lot of companies that are getting these days off. And I think it's just for the best. Like, we don't need to, if one of us tips, then everyone's going to tip and all these companies are going to be open. So
watch. It could be someone working at a Walmart, and because they don't get Thanksgiving off, they might just be like, "Yo, I'm going to work at Target."
Yeah.
But because it's those small things that these companies think don't matter.
No, they matter.
And it's a big
especially
deal.
If you're working
so many Thanksgivings with my family. My mother had to adjust so many Thanksgiving. Yeah. I remember one Thanksgiving year we ate dinner at 11 a.m. because I had to be to work at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, man. That's what I mean. Like, I remember one time
that whole night. Like, that it was crazy.
I think it was in 2009. It was the first time I went back to Florida to visit my family after moving here. And I went in October because for in Toys R Us for November and December, the entirety of it were blacked out. No, we weren't allowed to take vacations. Well, some of the managers somehow figured it out, but
wait, stop right there. Before you even move forward there, listen to what you just said. You were not allowed to take holiday days.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal now. I don't know if it was at the time. Maybe it was.
But right, think about where we was back then. And we really, as idiots, accepted that.
Well, we didn't have. I mean, me and you obviously wanted to move out of that place. It was hard, like that place was like a curse, I swear. But we were so basically we were locked out. So when I went to visit the end of October, and my family just surprised me. We had Thanksgiving at the end of October because I was going to be there. I didn't even know that. But like, this is the thing. We shouldn't have to do these things. Like we should have a healthcare system and a whatever you call this. Like having days off and everything. These should all be like. And I get not every country. People love to be like, oh, every country. No. There are a lot of countries that have this figured out better than us, but there are a lot of countries who are just way worse. But we just we're just in this crazy drive to never stop. And that, by the way, feel free to do some research on this, is not healthy. In fact, working 8 hours a day is actually not good. Like the human brain doesn't work that well. You
You're
need
not
to
supposed
actually,
to.
no, you're not. And there's tons of research and like psychology research and like brain research where like you should be able to work an hour, 2 hours, then it should be like a break
Why do
where
you
you
think they give
stop.
kids break throughout the day when they're teaching them?
Why do you think Google encourages breaks and you have to take breaks depending on what department you're in Google? Like you have to. They're programmers and shit. They require you to take at least 1 hour to fuck right off for the day. And there's plenty of places to play games, video games, board games, all sorts of shit in that building, and just enjoy it because they encourage that because it helps their programmers and their programmers are going to do better.
There you go.
Like the fact of the matter is like we're not meant to work 8 hours a day like straight. It doesn't do well for the human.
I strategically do that sometimes. Like I
Just go to the
literally will
bathroom
be
for a
like,
half hour. And
no, I'll like go in like a private room or something at work. But like
some
strategically,
places
I'll
you
be
can't.
like,
That's the
that
problem.
is very true.
Like
That's
if we
very
were
true.
Toys R Us, Terrance, you couldn't disappear. They would be like, where Terrance go? Like, so it is good that you're doing that now. I definitely think whatever I'm doing, like right now in school, like if I want to do like a paper, it takes me like 3-4 hours. I don't just sit there and do it all through. I'll sit there and I'll try to do like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right, you do an hour of like fully focus.
Yeah, and then I'll have to pull out and go, all right, let me just chill. Let me maybe watch a quick episode of something, or just I'll go on YouTube or whatever it is and just pull out a bit because it's just man, you can't. Like, you're not supposed to do that. It's not just like it's not what we want to believe. It's what it actually is.
Hey, really quick before we end
this topic before the show's even started. Yeah,
right. I know, right? We still didn't even intro the
we
show
haven't. No, this is we got off. This is how the show goes. We're a conversational.
I do want to give a shout out to a lot of people, friends, and people I may not even know that unfortunately didn't have their family this year, whether it be due to COVID or
me,
other circumstances, or you. I mean, your family's still alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant who were with their family.
Yeah.
Like the family's not literally with
them.
The
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our deepest condolences, and the holidays are a rough time, for people that have lost family. Because I'm pretty sure it always comes to mind. I have a really, really, really close friend of mine, and he went through some rough stuff, in the past couple of years, losing both his parents and everything. So it's like, I could never relate. I could never imagine, but just reach out to somebody, you do have people that care. You do have people that love you. And I'm saying that because New Year's and Christmas is right around the corner, within the next couple of weeks. So
yeah, man, it is.
It's a rough time. But your extended family is still around, the people that actually do care about you and things like that. So big shout outs to you. And even if you need to talk to us, like
reach out, man. We got an email. Terrance, hit him with the email in case they want.
Hit us up on email. Need I say more pod@gmail.com. Reach out to us on email. Look, I'll call you. I have no problem calling you.
We'll do it on the show or off the show, depending on what you want. Yeah,
Joe has no problem calling. We will call and we'll chat with you for a bit. If we can get you on a Zoom to join us in, via our family celebration or whatever we're doing, we'll do that as well. I feel
like I guess in a while there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring you on as a guest. Look, the thing about this is like, we have a lot of fun in the show, but at the end of the day, if you really listen to the things that me and Joe talk about, we're deeply invested in people and we care about people, as society, as humans, as just doing the right thing and being just caring about people. That's always on the forefront of what we do. And, it's not just about what we display on the show, but definitely about what we can do to affect people going forward.
Well said.
That's it for me. All right.
But yeah, before obviously we get too off the rails, Terrance, we of course
too off the rails.
I mean, listen, it's a conversational show is how we do it. But we do have some structure here, Terrance. So let's do our patented Black Excellence shout out of the week.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Oh yeah. So our Black Excellence shout out of the week, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, goes out to Mr. Cornell West. Now, a lot of people are probably like, who's that?
Yeah, I don't know
And
Cornell what's this.
I'll reply to you with I don't know either.
So I
But
don't know how you're shouting him out, but all
what
right.
I do, the little bit that I do know
He's a
of
philosopher, man. Hey, listen,
Mr. Cornell West
I
is that he's
suggested
one
you
of the
become a philosopher.
few
You didn't listen to me.
black philosophers.
I brought this up on a show, and you were like,
You
I don't know if I
definitely
want to
did.
do that. And now here
You
you are
definitely
shouting
did.
out a black philosopher.
I am shouting out a black philosopher because I know that I'm probably not going to be a guy to do that.
I think you could.
I am not as wise as this man. But the reason why I'm shouting him out is because I seen a commercial where he's doing philosophy classes on I think it's Master Academy or something like that. I want to get that right because I do think people should go to that.
Like
really
master classes, you mean?
Master class. There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
a lot of people do the class.
So he's
those
doing
are interesting just to
classes.
listen to, even if you're not necessarily trying to learn the thing they're learning. It is fascinating to listen to masters of their craft just talk about it. That's just fascinating for like pretty much anything.
Yeah. So he's somebody
he was in the Matrix movies.
No, so he wasn't. I'm glad you brought that up, Joe. He was not in a Matrix movie, but there are versions of the Matrix Reloaded and the Matrix Revolution where he's doing commentary for both.
So like an audio commentary over the
he's
movie.
doing audio, yeah. Like on a DVD special.
I mean, I love a good audio commentary. It's strange that heat somehow.
I would love to hear him.
It's unfortunate he did not the original Matrix,
the Matrix.
Like the first Matrix is the one I'd want to hear, but that's the best one. Reloaded and Revolutions are like weird afterthoughts to me.
I mean, still coming from a mind like this guy, I would still want to hear it for sure.
Me too. It's just I don't know why you wouldn't want to go.
He probably didn't get a chance. They probably didn't reach out to him on the first one. You got to think about that too.
I mean, hey, listen, you think he's gonna do the new one, Revelation? What was it, Revelations?
Oh yeah,
kind of soon.
Right? Is it Revelations?
I
don't know what the new one is.
Click on Revolutions, and then there'll be a link to the next one.
Is
Resurrections? That's
Resurrection. Okay.
Close.
All right.
Close, Terrance. Close.
They're keeping up with it.
Agree.
But Mr. Cornell West, I do not know a lot about you, but I want to make sure that I give you your shout out because you are a great man that deserves it, and I am continuing to learn more about you and a lot of your speakings and TED Talks and things like that. The little bit that I do know and heard, what an interesting mind. Like there's people that you look at and like, man, that's an interesting person. This guy I look at and I go, what an interesting mind.
Right.
Like, because how do you just like have the ability to function in that space? And like your mind just goes there. Like often on the show, we do Joe's high thoughts, but Joe's high thoughts. Yeah, that's exactly what the hell I call it.
Sounds cooler than it actually is, but yeah.
But
might have one today.
But to be a black man in America where you're able to have those quote unquote high thoughts and they're not high thoughts, they're actually
you don't have
very
to be
well thought out.
So listen, here's the thing about philosophy
thoughts.
and this guy. This guy's obviously, he went to Princeton, Harvard, so obviously a very well educated man. You don't need to do that to be a philosopher, like to speak. And I think we talked about this. I think 1%, less than 1% or something like that of all philosophers on Earth are black. Which is nuts.
It's ridiculous.
That's a problem. That's why I think like you don't necessarily need to be extremely highly educated. Like philosophy is about how you perceive the world, and stuff like that, and how you perceive all these different things. So you can be. I think people out there should definitely try to get more into philosophy. Like that's why I said you could do it because.
I mean, I view the way I view things often gets me in trouble because I just don't see it the way someone else may. And it's like you can't really turn it off because it's like your brain just does it. It's almost impossible to turn it off.
That's why sometimes it's good to like write these things down and you can like explore different the way you're viewing certain things. You could write down and you explore it that way. And the next thing you know, you can maybe actually put it out there like of these your thoughts and how you've gone through them, because that's how it happens. And you'd be surprised.
The crazy thing about it is that there's always if you ask someone, like if you ask me, right? I do this often actually. Somebody will be having a conversation or saying something to me, and my mind will automatically go back to a song that I've heard maybe once or twice that relates to something that they might have said in that sentence. Corey used to do this with me all the time. I'd have a song and I'd just start singing a song after something, and she'll stop and she'll go, "How did you get there?" Like, and that's a real question, right? Like, it's like, how did your mind take what I was just talking about and say, we're gonna transition it to all the way into this song that you've heard, or this melody or this rhythm. I may not remember exact words, but I probably remember one word that you said in your sentence that was the same word that was said in that song. And now the rhythm comes to me and everything like that. For school tests, I would study on the train with headphones. And people would ask me, why would you study like that? Is because I remember the passage of the text based upon what stop I was at and the song that was playing. So in order, when I would take a test, I would start humming whatever song it was, and I would look up at the stop, and in my head, I would remember the stop I was at, and then I would look down at the passage, and then in my head, I would remember the passage I read. Sounds complicated, but it works.
If it works, if it works,
it would sound super complicated, but it works. Definitely works.
But yeah, man.
Shout out to Mr. Cornell West and the other brilliant minds.
We need more. We need more. We need more philosophers, man.
Definitely need more philosophers.
All right, Terrance. Something I was thinking about. This is kind of random. People need to stop making puns on people's last names or names. Like, nothing is less funny than when someone's like, "Oh, well, LeBum doesn't know, how to get his team together like LeBron." Like, people, it's not funny. It's not clever. It's just you being horrible and unfunny. Nothing's worse than being not funny. You know what I mean?
Nothing's worse than being not funny.
But yeah, is that not wrong? Like, when someone's trying to be funny and they're just not, it's like, this is terrible.
I mean, this is true. Look, I mean, Pete Davis is apparently funny. He got Kim Kardashian now. It's like,
yes, I don't even know what the hell you just said, but the point is, I think we should.
Girls is what I meant. Really was getting to. Money
gets you everything, or funny gets you a lot of things in this world. All I'm saying is people gotta stop with awkward puns. Like, it's you're not funny. I know in your head you think of like a pun on someone's name and you're like, oh, it's not funny though. It's only funny in your head that one moment. It's actually funny. So don't say, oh, LeBum or any of these, what? No, just stop. Just stop. Okay. Can we agree on that, Terrance?
No, I think you got to let people have fun.
It's not fun. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not, though. And nothing is worse than trying to be funny.
But it's not funny to you. Somebody might actually enjoy it.
So someone says LeBum, you're like, oh,
no.
And you're laughing. Your tears are coming out of your eyes, Terrance.
I think it's stupid and corny.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm pretty sure. But here's another thing, Joe. We can't be those people pushing things that don't matter to us.
No.
There's someone out there that might like LeBum.
Terrance, what we're here for is to push people to be better. Stop trying to be. Listen, the lowest common denominator. Stop doing that. I know you think, oh, LeBron, the bum, boom, nailed it. LeBron sexuals, whatever that means. That's not even anything. That's just you saying sexual after your name. I don't know what that means. The point is, like, it's not funny. It's you trying to, like, the barest of the lowest hanging fruit you could do. That's what you're doing. You're like, oh, the bum. But it's not funny. No one on the planet laughs when you say that. And people do this with everything. It's just like the movie thing, Terrance. Terrance, did you know Ghostbusters haunted its way to #1 last week?
That new Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah, it haunted.
It didn't even look good.
It haunted its way to #1. Terrance, it haunted. You're not laughing. Why aren't you laughing, Terrance?
Because what you're saying is dumb.
Exactly. No one is laughing. We as a whole need to stop what we're doing. And this is what I mean. We talk about question everything. Why are you saying these stupid things? Just say what you mean or be funny. Don't just say, oh, it's a scary movie. So no, shut up.
You know how hard it is for people to be funny?
That's people. So stop.
People try really hard to be funny.
Terrance, that's my point. Stop. But if you're not being funny, stop. People are, if you're not funny.
But some people don't know that they're not funny.
I've what do you think I'm doing?
I've seen a lot of people crash and burn.
What do you think I'm doing here, Terry? We're educating people.
All right, so you're giving the LeBum guy, whoever came up with LeBum, the ability to just be like, hey, look,
Listen, if
it
you're
doesn't
not
work.
fun, not everyone in this world is funny. If you're not funny, you'd be better off just being normal.
You
Because
got to know when you're not
people
funny.
will
Though.
remember the guy who's not funny at all and be like, "That guy fucking
Absolutely.
sucks."
Absolutely.
But people aren't going to remember the guy who doesn't really, if he's not really trying to make jokes and failing, then he's just a dude. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But the guy who
and
sucks,
that's funny, right? Because the one that is horrible at jokes, you remember because you'll be talking about him a couple weeks from now, like, yo, remember that dude we was around and he was just
dumbass
like,
joke he said about
he
fucking
was-
LeBum. You remember how he laughed at? Fucking loser.
but the dude that's just kind of quiet, you know, like
he's
like,
cool.
yeah.
I like him.
Like, yeah,
I like Steve who just sits in the corner, but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
Steve,
cool.
Steve who doesn't say much might like if he actually thinks of something funny. See, there's a difference between trying to be funny and failing.
Steve's got one in the tuck.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got one in the tuck ready to go. He's waiting.
If you're not like trying to be funny, you'll still find moments to say something funny. But when you're trying and you're trying to make puns on people's names,
Steve got that jump rope mentality. He's just waiting for the right opening.
That's exactly right. And then you have fucking, you know, I don't even know, Chris down the street, and you're like, this dude just everything he says is a pun. Like I don't know he thinks it's funny, but no one else does. Don't be Chris.
Don't be Chris.
Be Steve.
Be Steve.
All right, Terrance. Also, Terrance, I want to say this on the show. Whenever I die, if I die early in life at some point, like if I'm not like older, do not go to my funeral. Make sure no one. You need to make sure no one else does this. Make sure no one does that stupid shit. Oh, he had a smile that lit up the room. Don't say that. Don't say. Oh,
that's a great thing to say.
It's not true though, is it? Though it's not true at all. It's absolutely a fabrication. I don't walk in the room and light up the room with my smile. Don't say, oh, everyone loved Giuseppe. He never met a person. No, don't say that. Terrance, I want you when you give my eulogy, I want you to go up there and go,
I got you.
Yo, was my best friend. I loved him. He was a huge asshole though. We all know it.
I 100%. I got you.
Because they would all laugh. They go, yeah, he was an asshole. Say it like it is. Don't remember.
I'm not gonna let you go out like that. I'm let you go out like that. I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't gonna let them try to sugarcoat it like this or whatever. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna definitely be like, look, you had to have a different mentality to deal with Joe.
Yeah, remember me for how I was, not
know,
how
like,
you want me. Don't
everybody
remember me for,
ain't like him, but
the nicest guy in the world. Don't say that.
I think the number one thing I can say, Joe was always him.
Yeah,
never wavered.
Do you see what I mean, Terrance? That is a honest like eulogy about me. Like you're saying what was true. I want people to remember me as I was, not as, you know, oh, he died, he was perfect, and he had no man. Don't say my smile lit up a room or, you know, nicest guy.
Yo, we gotta start doing that though. On the eulogies, we gotta start putting, you know, like whatever happened. You know, like James was a hoe. Like okay, he slept with 50 women.
If I was
at one point and bragged about it,
if I was giving your eulogy, I'd be like, Terrance is an honest guy, very, very good, honest, dependable dude. It took him forever to settle down, though. Constantly cheating on women, but hey, he found one. He found the one in Corey. There she is, and she'd be laughing at this point because she's like, I know. I
would appreciate that.
I'm like that. That was what he was. Also, one time I tapped him on the shoulder. He almost knocked me out. That he was untrusting. That was the thing about Terrance.
You know what's funny? No bullshit, Joe. No bullshit. I was in the elevator in my building. I was in the elevator in my building, and I was coming out the elevator, and the door was opening. Somebody was walking in the elevator. I almost punched him in the fucking face.
This is what I mean.
I almost punched him in the face.
I would bring these things up. I'd be like, Terrance, I'm like, maybe it's because he was black, and that's what happened. He was always on edge. He always assumed someone was going to attack him, and people would laugh at that because they know it's true. Because they know close.
He didn't give the elevator the opportunity to open. You know how the elevator door
the doors were like cracked.
It was like opening. It was the elevator door was opening. It wasn't fully open. It was opening.
Just bum rushed.
He was trying to come in the elevator as it was opening.
Yeah, that is
obviously I'm trying to come out because this is my floor. Even if it wasn't my floor, I'm standing here. The elevator door again isn't open. So I'm thinking you're too eager. You're too eager to get in the elevator right now.
Terrance, do you remember?
I got to be defensive right now.
Do you remember like a week or two ago I said, don't, you know, if I open up a door and hit someone, I don't apologize. This is what I'm talking about. people need to pay attention to what you're doing. If you're waiting for an elevator, when it opens, you stand back.
My fist was 5 inches away from this dude's face.
When an elevator door opens up, you stand back. You wait for people to get off first. If no one gets out, you
2 seconds.
You wait a second or two. You go no. Okay, and then you wait for them to get out, or you look. No one comes out. You go
right.
No.
Exactly.
Then you get on. This is what I'm trying. This is what we said last week, Terrance. It's not about these people are idiots. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. Don't just start barreling through life. Like, what if you were a meaner person? You knock that guy out. You know what I'm saying?
I saw he wasn't a threat.
Yeah, but some people would just
jump back.
Some people might have already like just gone for the hit, though. You know, you have a bit more sense.
He jumped back, but my fist was like really.
Do you want to get knocked out in an elevator because you scared someone by trying to crawl through it like a fucking zombie?
It made no sense, man. It made no sense.
Oh man! All right, Terrance, let's get on with the show. Terrance, I want to talk about. We talked briefly about controversy and trying to ignore it and stuff. And I have a very specific story about this. Okay.
Ignoring controversy.
Well, ignoring like I'll get to it, I guess. So you know, of course, the video game series, The Last of Us.
Yes, there's a show being made.
HBO is making a show right now about it, actually. So the first game came out summer 2013. It's fucking brilliant. It was one of the best reviewed games maybe ever. I fucking loved that game to death. It is as masterpiece as you could ever get of a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course the second one was very hyped. As these things happen when you make a masterpiece, people want even more from the second one. So the second one got delayed a bunch of times, but it eventually came out last summer. So 2020, summer of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't buy games when they first come out. I think it's better to wait. Patches come out, go on sale. There's no point in rushing, right? Now I finally went free on PlayStation Now. So for the last month or so, I think I mentioned on the show, I've been playing it. Now, I knew when the game came out, there was some controversy surrounding it. People were saying, oh, people are mad about this. I saw some headlines about people were mad. But Terrance,
knowing controversy.
Well, knowing me, hold on a second, I'm gonna get there. But now you know me, Terrance. I don't feed into any of that shit, right? So I ignored it all. Now, flash forward to last month, I start playing the game. I'm a few hours in, and I'm like, man, this is good. I'm like, I wonder if people were upset by it. You know, I'm playing through it, and the more I get through the game, I'm like, I really wonder if people are upset by it, because there were some story bits where I'm like, maybe people were upset with some of the decisions, you know, but I'm like, I don't really. Anyway, so I was like, when I finish this game, I'll look it up, right? So I finished the game a few days ago. I was like, let me look up the controversy, right? So I'm gonna go over some of the stuff. All right. So Metacritic, by the way, it's like an aggregate. You know, they collect all the reviews that people give, and they get like, and let's say it has a 94 on Metacritic, it means like 94% of the reviews are positive. Like Rotten Tomatoes is the same thing for movies and TV.
Mm-hmm.
So people, and they have critical, and then they have like the public can do their own. So people were bombing it. You know, it had like a 3 out of or 3.4 out of 10 on Metacritic at one point. People were bombing it and getting mad at it. So this is what people were upset by, Terrance. People were saying that people were upset because of the plot, and they were saying that there's too much quote unquote social justice politics in the game. And they were saying they were upset because there's LGBT characters in it. So you play. So I'm gonna so you play. So minor spoilers potentially for this game if you haven't played it. Anyone listening, but you play the game first. You play as primarily one character, Ellie, and then the second time you play as a new character they bring into the series. You kind of play these two separate campaigns almost, right? And Ellie from the first game is a lesbian, or at least she likes women. I guess she never specifies that, but actually she kind of does. Anyway, she's a lesbian, and it's not a major point of the game. She kind of just there's a girlfriend throughout it, and it's not like the game is about, you know, a lot more stuff than that. But people are upset by that, right? So first off, I don't even know what that means. What? Like, what people are upset by that? Okay,
what are you upset about?
According to these people, that's social justice warrior BS to have. Because of course, Terrance, you should only have straight white males, ideally with shaved heads in your games. So I was like, all right,
it's progressive.
Let me keep reading, Terrance. So I was like, all right, let's find out what else there is. So early on in the game, a fairly sizable character gets killed, right? And people were upset by that, but then they were upset that this character shouldn't have done this. It wouldn't make any sense. And I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense. But they're saying, oh, like they didn't like that he died in this way. And I was like, okay, I can understand that. You know, I guess if you don't maybe like that, I don't think it's, you know, if you don't like it, I don't think it's the same as criticizing. It's just their idea, but whatever. But then they were saying that, so in the trailers, they showed this character in a bunch of ways, and they hid the new character that you play as, they kind of hit like they would replace her in the trailers, so you wouldn't know. And people were saying, "Oh, it's not fair. Uh, that's false advertising. You're showing these characters, but you never, that the character's not really in the game much."
Mm-hmm.
Now, Marvel does this for every single fucking film they release. When they release trailers, they always alter what they're showing because they do not want. This isn't to bamboozle anybody. Okay, this is to prevent people from knowing the plot, because it's much more fun when you don't know what's going to happen and you get surprised. And you know as well as I do, Terrance, if you put out a trailer, every fucking frame of that trailer will be analyzed by 100 fucking websites out there. Every tiny little frame they're gonna look at. Oh, wait a minute! In this one frame, you can see that it says Spider. This is what they do. Am I wrong with this?
No. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And in for example, the new Spider-Man movie is coming out in about a month, right? There's a shot, and I haven't even seen the trailer, to be fair, but there's a shot of Spider-Man coming up.
Looks dope.
Where I'm gonna see it, so I don't need to watch it. But there's a shot of Spider-Man like walking, and he has like the 4 metal claws on his back, and there's like a ton of space on both sides of him. So a lot of people were like, I wonder why there's so much space. I wonder if they edited out what's on his left and his right, like other characters maybe. But people know this. This is what Marvel does. Marvel, if you watch the trailers for Infinity War, the Hulk is hulked out in several trailers, but he never does that in the movie because they were hiding this. They don't want you to know what's going to happen. So them doing this in this game is the exact same thing, right? So again, that's not a reason to criticize. You're not supposed to know the plot of the game before the game comes out. That's how it works. We keep going, Terrance. People were upset about the character you play as, saying, so she has these jacked fucking arms. Like she clearly she's in like phenomenal shape throughout the game, right? People were upset by that. People were like, she shouldn't have arms that big. That doesn't make any sense.
Yo, didn't they just drop a trailer for She-Hulk as well? I'm sorry, my mind just went there.
I mean, that's like a gamma radiation, so I don't know if that's quite the same as this game, but
mine just went there, She-Hulk.
Anyway, just like you said, your mind works in mysterious ways. But this is what I mean. They're saying, oh, like she shouldn't look like that, as if like women can't work out, Terrance. Women can't work out and get their arms bigger. By the way, this is a post-apocalyptic game. By the way, there's almost no civilization left. It's
that was like when people were upset at the black girl that now plays Starfire on the Titans show on HBO Max. Right. When that was first announced, they were like, she's not black. You can't do that. And it was like, she's orange. And she's not real.
So anyway,
like, it doesn't matter.
She's orange. Not exactly, right?
It doesn't matter.
So people were upset. So people were saying, oh, she shouldn't, like she shouldn't have these arms in this great shape, as if like women can't work out. No, the reason I tell you all of this, there's a few more things they point out. That the reason, and the woman, by the way, who played this character in the game was getting like death threats, which is, by the way, insane to attack an actress who's playing a character that someone, anyway. Now, I bring all this up, Terrance. The reason I bring all this up is because the reason I bring it up is because, first of all of this is fucking nonsense. Like, I'm so sorry that it offends you that there's people who aren't straight in this world. Fuck right off. Okay, number one. Number two, I'm sorry you don't understand that women can't work out. Like, I'm sorry you've lived in a world where women are just dainty and fucking wearing dresses all the time. Like, even in a post-apocalypse, I guess she should still be dainty. I don't know. But the point is, like, what you need to do, Terrance, what I need to do, what everyone listening needs to do, what everyone not listening needs to do.
Call out the bullshit.
It's ignore this type of shit. This is what I mean. This was never a real controversy. What happens is you have a small amount of people. Let's say you have a couple thousand people, right, who get pissed off at something. They don't like these things because they're tiny, insignificant people who spend all day on the computer. Oh, I don't like the feed LGBT. All these fucking losers out there. And what they do is they go on places like Metacritic and they make a big stink about it, but a small amount of people. And what they do is they make a stink out of it. And then these websites, like we talked about a few weeks ago, they start posting about it. And then people, they see, controversy. They start clicking on it. And then it blows up. More people start, there's and the next thing you know, you have 100 million people who think it's a controversy because of a couple hundred people who did this. This is what I'm saying. It's all bullshit, Terrance. I played through this game and not one of these things. The only thing I noticed was, wow, she's jacked. But I didn't go, that's impossible. I went, no, like she's in the military, essentially. Like that's the kind of faction they have.
Yeah.
I think she just wants to be ready, and what she, like, the point is, like, it's all bullshit. This is what I mean. Like, we got to stop when we see like controversy, or if you see a headline that says like, people are so upset about ignore it. We have to stop. Don't click on these links. Don't talk about it with your friends. Don't tweet about it. Ignore it all, because it's all bullshit. And we're spreading it.
If you ignored it, right? Like, let me play devil's advocate here. if you ignored it, then you feel like you don't necessarily know what's going on because it's a headline
I didn't
made
know what
for
was
a
going on,
specific.
and I just had an amazing experience playing the game. So it seems like
It was-
I am the winner here.
But these headlines are made for a specific reason, right? They're made to grab attention.
Right,
Now, I could look at a headline and say, okay, this is probably bullshit, or this is probably clickbait, whatever the case may be, and move on from it.
but you still
But there
see
are
you still
more
see
people. But there are some people that still know that and be like, well, let me click it and see what's going on and read it, and now they fall into it.
No. But this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the websites who write about it are not necessarily inherently bad. We talked about this a few weeks ago. But when they see this,
No,
they
they're
go,
doing a job.
yeah, and they're writing about this story, and because something did happen. Now, here's the thing: if whenever people get upset about something, they go to fucking Metacritic or they go to fucking Rotten Tomatoes, whatever it is. If they get all bitchy and they get upset by these things, if when these websites reported it, no one clicked on it, would they keep writing on it for the next time? Just
No, you
like
shift the market.
just like when we're people go to shopping on Thanksgiving. If people weren't shopping on there, would they open next year? No, it's the same thing. If the more people click on these links, the more every time a game comes out and someone goes Metacritic and starts bombing it, every video game website checks these things. They see it, they write about it because they know if they write about it, people are going to click on it. It's just like supply and demand, same thing. So if you stop clicking on it, I stop, and everyone listening stops clicking on these links, this fake controversies, bullshit that doesn't exist, people aren't going to stop writing about it. It's not going to spread. I'll give you a crazy kind of example. You know, of course, of the Gay Pride Parade, obviously all over the country for Pride Month, obviously here in New York City. Right around that time, a couple years ago, I think it was like 2017, 2018.
I used to hate getting on the train during that day, but
any parade sucks. There's just too many people. You know,
I just love seeing the girls. Like,
yeah. I think some guys in Boston register like the Straight Pride Parade. They've registered this thing right now.
Oh, I heard about that bullshit.
Why did you hear about this, Terrance? Why would you hear about two guys in Boston
the heterosexual day parade?
Why did you hear about this, Terrance? How did you hear about this? Did you read about it in a news story, perhaps, or see it on Twitter?
Across like one of my Twitters.
Right.
It came across my feed.
Here's the thing, right? These two guys did this, right? Some people started reporting on it, and then you know what happened? People started reporting on it. People started clicking on these links, and then eventually you have people like Chris Evans going, this is horrible. We shouldn't have. Everyone's getting mad about this, and guess what happened, Terrance? Fucking thousands of people heard about this, and people who also have hatred sort of decided to go to this parade. Next thing you know, thousands and thousands of people were sending these guys money to throw this parade because all these people who were against it were bringing attention to it. If
added fuel to the fire.
If these fucking two losers who went out there and made the Straight Pride Parade made it and no one reported on it, guess what would happen, Terrance?
It would die out.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Even when you call something out for hating and these guys are terrible, blah, it just makes it bigger and more people know about it. And then once millions of people know about it, you're going to get support. You're going to get people following who are also stupid like those two guys.
Give the flame more air. You have to
That's what I mean. So
the flame.
I know you want to call these things out. You want to read to know. You want to go, oh, look at this horrible fucking all these idiots talking about Last of Us. You're bringing attention to the negative, and you're bringing attention to the thing.
But Joe, some people do not know how to ignore.
Well, and I'm realizing.
I'm realizing
you are here to educate people and go, you got to stop.
I understand what you're saying. I'm realizing that that there are some people who literally can't, like, okay, let's use you for instance. You have a big problem with ignoring stupidity.
And stupidity.
You don't like it, right?
But you know what? Listen, I'm smart enough to understand.
Let's stay there for a second.
Hold on a second. I'm smart enough to know when to ignore certain things. Something like this, okay. I'm not going to feed into it. But I know what it does.
Exactly.
I'll make fun of the headlines.
You got
I'll make fun of the Ghostbusters headline. What?
You got there too fast. You got to my point too fast.
Sorry.
That you're yes, very aware that you're smart enough to do that. But what I'm saying is this: there are a lot of people that don't necessarily know how to turn that switch on when to ignore something, right? And that being when something is affecting them or bothering them, or when they can literally see beyond the bullshit, instead of just being like, this is bullshit, click. It has to be, this is bullshit with my comment attached to it, so I can now let the world know that I know this is bullshit. Your voice doesn't always have to be heard loudly. Silence says more.
Also,
that goes for a lot of things.
I'm gonna rain on a lot of people's parades. You're not fucking important enough for people to care about your opinion. Sorry. Okay,
That
I
too.
know
That
you want to put
too.
your opinion out there. 99% of the world, no one gives a fuck about your opinions. And if it does, it's a few friends and family on Facebook or whatever. But you don't have followings. You don't have
Your
unless
2 cents doesn't
if you
add up to
have
much.
if you have 10,000 followers or more, then you're starting to other people care. If you're just like most people, you have a couple hundred fans, you have doesn't matter, man.
Oh
And
wait.
not even you should have at least 100,000. Fuck that. Like,
Oh wait.
I'm sorry,
And
your opinion
let's
is
touch
not.
on that too.
Oh, and
because
hold on. Let me
followers.
clarify with this. I'm not saying your opinion's not important. I'm saying it doesn't go anywhere. If I tweet right now or I put on Facebook that I support these things, okay, no one cares. No one's going to go back and look at my fucking. No one cares. I'm just a regular person. Like if you're Rihanna and you have fucking 100 million followers, then it's important. If you're just some random person, people aren't looking for that opinion, you know, like you can tell your friends and the people close to you your opinion because they're your friends and stuff. But
okay, wait. So the followers, right? Let's go to the followers aspect really quick, right? People that are not Rihanna and Chris Pratt and everything like that, but have a huge social media following. Let's say they're so quote unquote social media influencer, right? This word became a thing and this became like a real thing a couple of years ago, right? Social media influencer, right? If you don't understand what the word influence means, please look it up, because to be an influencer means to have an effect on multiple people, right? You are that person that when you give your quote unquote opinion, you have to realize that you're probably changing someone else's opinion as well.
yeah,
because
well said.
the way that you view this thing now, you're now influencing others to view it the same way.
Yeah, unfortunately, people are sheep and they want to be told how to feel. So if someone they respect or like or follow, like someone again, not just some random person who follows, you have 1,000 followers. If you have 100,000, a million followers,
These
a lot of people just
yeah,
they want to. People don't, and this subconscious
why do you
thing.
think these companies pay so much for the goddamn influencers?
What I'm saying is people really are sheep and people want to be told how to think and where to go, which is why there's so many things telling you. Like when we talk about this, when someone says people are freaking out about this, that is them telling you that you need to forget about this. That's them telling you that because people want that. And so, yeah, it's like you said, influencers or whatever, whoever they are, if people want to be told how to feel about something. So if you come out going, man, Dave Chappelle's new thing is horrible against trans people, we should hate him. Guess what? A lot of people are going to go, that's how I feel now because I just was told that.
Which, by the way, all of Dave Chappelle's shows have sold out after you guys quote unquote canceled him.
Well, but again, that you know what that was? It's just what that's The Last of Us. It's all bullshit. It's fake. It's these controversies aren't real. It's made up. It's made up by people writing these stories and people clicking on them and everyone thinking there's someone against it, but everyone is yelling at no one. There's like no one else on the other side, but everyone's mad about this thing. It's all this is it's all connected, Terrance. All of this shit's made up. 95% of controversy in this world are made up and almost no one cares. Sometimes there are real things that happen, but most of the time,
it's saying there's no really big issues.
There are real big issues, but those real big issues are not The Last of Us. Or Dave Chappelle. These are. It's what is trending and getting clicks. Okay, if I am an influencer or I have YouTube videos, whatever I do, if there is someone, everyone's talking about Dave Chappelle, a lot of people will join in on that, whether they support him or not. They join in because then more people like their tweets and follow their videos. It's everyone's trying to suck on the same teat, man. So when one thing becomes big, everyone's jumping in and trying to suck on the teat. When the reality is like it's not even a thing. Dave Chappelle, I think there's very few people who are actually mad, and the people who are mad, I'm not saying they don't exist. In the grand scheme of things, I've yet to see any real thing from it. I'm sure some people are upset, but I think most people were like, I didn't even watch the thing. I just heard he made fun of trans people and therefore I'm upset, which I would be upset too if I knew that's all he was doing. But as a person who watched the fucking thing, I can safely say, well, he did make fun of some trans people while telling some really poignant stories about it, as well as making fun of like a million other people. So I don't, I'm not going to be offended by that.
Yeah.
The point is of this whole thing is we need to stop feeding into these things. Because number one, it will shade your view. Like had I read all that, I might have. I don't think I would have been too much, but I might have gone into the game and I have these views in my head of what it may or may not be. Whereas I went into the game, Terrance, I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about it. All I knew was the game was a sequel. That's all I needed to know. I love Naughty Dog. I don't need to know anything else. Like for instance, with the new Spider-Man movie, I love Spider-Man. I've loved the 2 solo films they made him in. I haven't even seen the trailer somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why they're not playing it before Marvel films. Haven't even seen the trailer. I don't need to. I know the film is something I want to see. If it turns out to be shit, then that's my own fault. But I don't need to see anything about it. And also, things are much more fun when you don't know. I mean, what's more fun than going into a movie and you're like, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be great.
Right.
But yeah, my point is just ignore the shit because, like I said, 95% of the time it's made up. It's not real controversy. It's just, like I said, people were upset that there are lesbian characters. Like that is an immediate. I ignore everything you're saying now because you're I don't know what your brain is clearly just not working properly. If that's a problem. Like I don't
True.
like I'm sorry to tell you that there are people in this world who are not straight. I don't know if I'm the first one to let you know about this. But there are. So I'm so sorry that it offends you to see that. Oh my god, your eyes might melt if you
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's just like I don't know, man.
They are different people.
Yeah, what? They're different people in the world than me. That's shocking. But that's what I mean. I just it's all bullshit. That game was brilliant, Terrance. It's actually like hard because it's like
I'm happy you enjoyed it.
It's very much like a revenge thing. Like your characters are going on a kind of revenge. So you feel like shit sometimes because you're like, I don't know if I really agree with like what she's doing, but that's the point. The point is to kind of make you feel uncomfortable and show you why just violence and revenge, it's not good. It doesn't lead to anything. But anyway, game's brilliant. If you have to play the first one, play the second one, ignore all the fake controversy because it's fake. So that's that.
There you go.
Also, Terrance, I wanted to bring up briefly on your recommendation. I watched The Harder They Fall.
Oh, you did.
Did yeah.
What'd you think?
I fucking loved it. I fucking loved
there we
it,
go.
Terrance.
There we go.
We'll talk about this very briefly because we kind of went a little long. Well, not long, but listen, that movie
done very well.
Terrance, that movie I thought was great. I think it was. I don't know what genre to be. Obviously, it's a Western, but it's kind of like a alternate history Western almost. Like it's obviously not meant to be. I know they're real characters, like the people in the movie are like based on real characters.
Yeah, the story is different.
But obviously, like
the characters are real.
The look of that. One thing I love more than anything is a director who has a vision and who's like, I'm sticking to this vision. That movie is very specific with the way it looks.
Oh yeah,
lighting, the colors, the music, how it balance. The music's often like in sync with things going on. Like it's all very, very specific. And the guy who directed it, James something.
Yeah, give him a shout out because I didn't know who directed it, but as I was watching.
Dude, this guy. Okay, his name is James.
Really,
his name is James Samuel, Jeymes.
James Samuel.
This dude has directed almost nothing. I have no idea how he did such a good job.
Look at that.
He's directed. Well, by the way, apparently he's in with Jay-Z, which is I think where it started. But all he's ever done is like
Jay,
one Jay. It's like one Jay-Z. He's gonna sponsor the show. Rock Nation is.
Holla at us.
You think if we just start calling our show Rock Nation Presents?
Why
need
not?
I say more? Do you think
why not?
That'll put him on radar?
We just talked about headlines, right? If people believe in
Let's
things
do
that
what
they
we
see, right?
Let's do what we hate. And
there you go. Look.
Anyway, the vision of this movie is great. I love how like that main town they're in that Idris Elba takes over. It's like bright reds and yellows and green walls, which is not the way the West looked. Obviously, didn't have that kind of color. But then when they go to the white town, it's like completely bleached out and like there's no color whatsoever. Like obviously that's not how the West really looked. So that's why I know they're kind of going for like a bit of I don't know what you call it, but I just thought it was a great movie. I love the characters. I love the cast is amazing. I love the whole cast.
Shout out to Regina King, who is just on a tear right now.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's on a tear ever since Watchmen.
Zazie Beetz, who I really love.
Zazie Beetz, who did a great job.
Jonathan Majors, RJ Seiler, our boy Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith. Oh, hold on. Pause real quick on Lakeith. Lakeith has this ability to remain. Remember how we spoke about you still didn't see the King Richard movie, right?
No, I debating if I'm gonna watch it on HBO Max or not. I kind of want to go to the theaters, but maybe I'll just. It's like it's special effects, big budget movie. I don't know. We'll see. I'm debating. I'm debating.
I'm trying to help you out here. Watch
I'm going to see it regardless. I promise you.
Yeah. So you know how I mentioned with the King Richard movie and Will, it was like, hey, Will didn't step out of Will, right? I still saw Will, right?
But I can't wait to see it and see if that's true.
Lakeith has this ability to still be Lakeith, but I'm looking at a character. It's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So when you watch the movie and you watching him talk, you're like, oh, Lakeith really talks like that. Like this doesn't sound like a role. This sounds like he was talking to the guy. He was like, look, I don't want to hurt you. Like, I don't want to kill you. And then he goes and he slices the guy. Spoiler alert. We both saw it. You should have watched it
spoiler
by
alert
now.
to everyone else. It's not Netflix.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Let's watch it. But he goes in the room, whatever, and he slices the guy up and everything. And then he has this real sincerity about him. It's like, why did you make me do that? Like,
yeah, you can say he's great in that movie. Like, he doesn't want to do these things. He really doesn't like.
It's a real
people,
thing. And
like.
he's when the kid is counting, like first of all, they did a great job with leading up with this kid waiting to duel him.
Yeah, I really was like, I wonder if they're gonna do.
That
I
was
was like, this almost seems too. In my head, I was like, I wonder if they're gonna like if he's gonna twist it, and then he just totally did. He's like,
I love the build up to this kid and
RJ
Lakeith
Seiler,
finally
man,
gonna
shot this kid a lot. He was the Blue Ranger, not
really?
the Black Ranger, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
Which is definitely a joke they mentioned multiple times in that movie, because I think who's the Black Ranger? It's like I think it's like an Asian kid. It's on the Black Ranger. It's like, no, you ain't. Because he for some reason is the Blue Ranger. Jonathan Majors.
They do good. Jonathan Majors.
The kind of Eddie. I don't know how his last name. Gathegi. He was a dude who was in X-Men First Class and Gone Baby Gone, and surprisingly never really became bigger. I thought he'd become a bigger star.
Mm-hmm. But they Jonathan Major.
Everyone was great in that.
Jonathan Major did a great job. He's also in if you haven't seen it by now, he's in goddamn, why did I just forget the Disney show? He's
Jonathan
in
Majors is?
Yeah, Jonathan Major.
You're gonna say Lovecraft Country.
The Lovecraft Country is good as well.
It canceled, so whatever.
It got canceled, which I don't understand why. It was
Loki.
It was a really good show. He's in Loki.
Yeah, no one really understood. I mean, honestly, it must have just been reviews, because the show was well received, but HBO would only cancel it if it wasn't doing well. So I guess that's what I mean. I don't know.
It's really crazy.
I mean, it must just not. People must not have watched it. Like, it's usually like HBO doesn't give a shit about like most of the, like. Yeah, that's what most networks cancel things for the same reason, which is not performing well.
But here's the thing, though. Jonathan Majors, the first time I saw him was in this Loki. I'm sorry, was in Lovecraft Country. Then I saw him pop up
a little bit.
I saw him pop up in Loki. The character he plays.
I saw him in White Boy Rick first.
I watched White Boy Rick. I probably didn't notice.
Yeah, he's a small part, but that's a good movie.
The character he plays in Loki is such a pivotal character in the Marvel.
I haven't actually
universe.
seen Loki yet. I'm planning on going through it once I finish.
Check it out. It's such a pivot. He plays such a pivotal character. He plays Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel universe, and his 10 minutes, because he only has 10 minutes in one episode. His 10 minutes literally dictated the entire season for me. I was like, oh shit, season 2 is about to be crazy.
Right.
It's about to be crazy. But Jonathan Majors did a great job. Lakeith did a great job. Idris
did a great job. I think it was just a great job. I think it was a really good movie overall. Like, I don't know. I love the style. I thought there was some good kind of like actions, shootouts, and
we need more movies like this.
Yeah, for sure.
We need.
I was surprised it got like some people were not as into this. I was like, I was in this from the get go. I was like, this movie looks great.
But I don't understand how could you? Because me and Corey sat in bed and watched it. We started in the living room.
Some people were saying like it's
and got to the bed with it.
The plot is not that great, and I'm like, yeah, I guess the plot is it's kind of unoriginal. Like, I don't know, kid gets his parents killed in front of me, has to get revenge. I understand it's not the most original, but most movies don't have especially original plots. Like, it's
that's an old Western theme. Like that doesn't sound too far off.
It's also just most like, if you boil down almost any movie, most have very basic plots. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like look at like Inception. Inception is like a brilliantly original movie. The plot is like a thief has to go back for one last mission to get Everett to exonerate himself. I mean, you've seen that a million times. Yeah. So I don't know. Personally, that is not as big a deal, because everything that happened, I think the ending was really cool with him and Idris Elba in that scene where they're in the room, and I think there's a lot of really cool. Like, I think it was a great movie. I can't wait to see what Skip does next. This James Samuel.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. Great job. I love that Jay is giving a lot of these unknown directors.
That's all I would be doing if I hit it like big.
He does a
made
great
some
job
stuff.
at that.
I would be like, I want to get other people noticed, man, because there's so much talent out in the world that just doesn't have a platform.
Rock Nation as a whole, when it comes to artists and like creative people, they do a great job with just getting like undiscovered, quote unquote, talent, or just like unknown talent, and really giving them a springboard because you can't do a movie like that for Netflix with those big stars without Jay-Z being in your back pocket, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Netflix seems to be fairly hands off with these things, but at the same time, I don't know if they would go, "Oh yeah, you've directed nothing." Sure,
Yeah, no,
sure,
not
you
at
can
all.
do that. I think more like I think that
Not at
probably
all.
helped to have like a name
Yeah,
like
that's a
because he
Jay-Z's in the room
because he
with you.
produced it. Because I was like Sean Carter, I was like, is that Jay Z? I'm like, is that he's not using Jay Z, he's just using Sean Carter for a producer? And I was
Yeah.
like, is that? And I was like, oh, it is him. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, Terrance, we're getting a little long on the show. I do though, of course. We end every show, Terrance, with a hypothetical, and I have one this week.
What you got?
Hi, Terrance. Is
You
it?
got one this week, people.
I do. I know. I missed. Listen, like I said, I don't want to force anything. I want them to be. I don't want to just Google hypothetical questions that are just boring. So Terrance, it's kind of a multi-part question. If let's say you maybe someone you work with or someone you bump into, you walk around, you're in an elevator, maybe someone in the regular world. If it was a guy and you smelled his cologne and you're like, that smells good, would you go, hey man, whatever you got on, man, smells fantastic? Or would you say you wouldn't maybe do that for another guy? You think it's a little like weird.
Listen.
Telling a guy smells a random stranger.
I'm be real with you. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. This is, and I'm not gonna say his name on the show, of course not. But there's a dude I used to hang out with, and this nigga had on like this amazing cologne, and I've been
for
trying
years.
To,
you were like,
I've been trying to find it myself. I refuse to ask this man, this grown man.
You know,
what are you
wearing? You see him?
No. We're cool. We cool. I see him a few times a year, like. And it's his thing. I know it's his thing, but I'm like, damn, that'll smell good on me. I know that'll smell good on me. I just need to find it.
So even though you wouldn't be like, listen, man, honestly, like, I know this might be a little weird. Even that you just couldn't do it.
Nah, I don't know if you call it pride. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, I don't. It's just something. It seems like
not like
can't do it. Especially personal, but kind of personal, like a weird. Like you don't want to like, you smelling me, bro? Like it just seems kind of a weird thing to ask someone, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like women could get away with that.
I agree. I
women don't. Yeah.
Okay. So let me.
Women can get away with that. Oh, girl, you smell amazing. Like what you wearing?
But even that, she guys would be like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry. Excuse me. What are you wearing? That smells fantastic." Like, and the woman, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, totally fine." Okay. So let me, like I said, multi-part question. Let me flip it. Would you, if same situation, but it was a woman, would you go, I'm sorry, but what is it you're wearing? It smells really good.
Oh, for a woman? Yeah.
So you would tell a woman she smells nice.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't think it would be considered inappropriate? Like, let's say it was at work. Would you go, no, it's inappropriate at work?
Oh, no. Of course not. No.
But if you were just out in the random.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, though. On
the subway, you might
I would. No. It would be more so in a way where it's like, hey, like that smells really good. Like, what is that? It would more so be like, do I think this is something that I would enjoy my girl wearing?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
You know, like that's where it would be. It wouldn't come from a point of like, oh, I think she smells amazing, and all of a sudden, like, I'm drawn into this pheromone, and it's just like,
would you say that to her? Like, I'm sorry to bother you, but you smell fantastic, and I think, you know, like my girl might like that smell or something like that.
Nah, I wouldn't use those words. I'd be somewhere of like, yo, like, you know, what kind of perfume you got on? Like, it smells.
Would you mention your girlfriend? I think my girlfriend would really smell good in that. Or,
yeah, of course, yeah. But see, you simple things like changing "you smell good" to "it smells good," like. Those are, you know, like
you smell good. It's almost like, all right, relax.
Exactly. Yeah. It's simple things like changing the wording, like right there, you know.
Okay. And then, so
we switch it up.
So I'm going to flip it again now. If a guy approached you and it was like, oh, you smell really nice, would you go, I'm not going to answer that, you know? Or would you just be like, oh. And you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm wearing so and so. You wouldn't mind?
Nah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you the answer to what I'm wearing unless you ask. And even when you ask, I may not even give it to you. I'd be like, you know what? I mixed like two of them. I don't even really.
You don't. You just. Don't
I don't even really know. No, because I don't want you smelling like me. Don't.
But if it's a stranger, I mean,
dick riding. Don't.
But if it's a stranger, like, what does it matter? Assuming whatever you have, millions of people probably bought.
Get off me. Get off me.
Okay, so if a woman said something, it's just like, oh my god, my boyfriend would probably smell great. And what is it you're wearing?
Still,
same thing. So you want to keep that secret a little bit to yourself.
It's mine.
Okay.
It's mine.
Okay,
Listen,
you're just asking.
I go through a lot of colognes and different scents and stuff to find out what works for me.
There's a subscription thing about that where they send you a new thing like once a month, like enough to wear like 30 days worth.
Yeah, nah.
You know,
Nah.
you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't be into that.
Nah.
Because if you found something you love, then you could do that for like a year and then go, you know what? I found three
That's
I
true,
love.
but I just like I kind of like experimenting with the different ones. Like I got
That's
a
what
few
that-
that I
that's
actually
what-
really like.
That's what that would be.
I already found a few. Is what I'm
So you're
saying.
good. You're
Yeah,
set.
yeah.
Well, you don't want to get stale. I mean, what if,
Look, she likes what she likes on me. It's
which
very
is really
specific.
what's probably most important.
Yeah, it's very specific. So I gotta stick
All
to
right,
that.
Terrance, before we get onto a second show here, let's wrap this one up. That's it for me, though, to be fair. I already asked my question. So do you have anything else?
No, I got nothing else. You know, if you out there and reading headlines and shit and getting drawn in, please cut the bullshit. But if you're reading our headline for this episode, thank you, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us and we appreciate that. Need I say more?